Let's talk about Roth conversions, why you would do one, how much it would cost, like all that stuff, the pros and cons. So let's get into it. I have to say I recently had my 40th birthday, so you know, that's the decor and I'm loving it. So there you go. When you have money in a traditional IRA and you want to get it over to a Roth, getting the money from the traditional to the Roth is called a Roth conversion. When the money leaves the account, it's added to your income for income tax purposes in that year. That is expected to be paid. So ideally you pay it from money that you have outside of your account. Otherwise, you have to pay that with proceeds from your IRA, and that's going to reduce how much you have invested, and there could be a penalty for that amount that you use for paying those taxes. So the first thing it does is it creates a tax bill for you. So you would really want to be strategic about this and not just do it for the sake of doing it without doing some calculations. But once the money is in the Roth, so when it goes directly from the traditional to the Roth, then that money from here on out grows income tax free, meaning when you get into retirement, your distributions, the money that comes out of the account is income tax free, which is a huge perk of the Roth account. It really depends on how close you are to retirement and the difference in your income tax from where you are now to where you'll be in retirement. That's why it's so important to actually run the numbers, calculate what you'll pay in taxes, and see if it's worth it. If you have a very large portfolio invested in a traditional IRA, that's going to be a huge chunk of money. It could bump you into a higher tax bracket, ultimately just making you pay a lot more than you would if you were more strategic about your conversion. So in order to reduce the taxes that you'll pay, you can spread out your conversion over time. You don't have to do it in one go. You can say like, okay, I'm gonna do 10,000 this year, next year, the following year, until it's completely converted. And that's just gonna bump your income up $10,000. And if there's any lulls along the way, like if you plan to take a sabbatical or take some time off, that would be a perfect time to do this conversion because you're going to be taxed at a lower rate, especially if you take time completely off. If you're in a high tax bracket, it might not financially make sense for you to do it because if you have to pay so much in tax that it erodes a large portion of what you have to invest for later, it just might not make sense. I do work one-on-one with clients and I help them do these calculations. Take a look at my services below if you want some help with this and you're not currently working with a financial advisor or you want a second opinion or any of that. So this conversion is allowed for everyone, even if you're a high earner. That's why there is such thing as a backdoor Roth, because what people do is they put money into the traditional IRA and they move it over to the Roth. That's how you get in if you're a high earner. But there's other things at play like the pro rata rule. So definitely take a look at that video if it's something that you could be faced with. But keep in mind, just because people really emphasize having a Roth and the importance of it and how great they are because of that tax-free income later, there's nothing wrong with a traditional IRA either because you do get that tax break now. And having both a traditional and a Roth will just give you options in retirement because there might be some years where you have a low income. You might travel for a year. You might not even have any income aside from what you pull out from your accounts. And that means you'll be taxed at a low rate. And there might be years where your income's really high and that's when you'd pull from the Roth. So having both doesn't hurt anything. I have both, my husband has both. Now, if you need to know how to invest inside your IRA or other retirement accounts, take a look at this video next.